Good morning, everybody, and I am in the training shed with Luke this morning, and we just got done with breakfast a little while ago, went outside, did our business, and pottied, and we're back in the shed. While he was outside, I was quick cleaning the floor, got it all cleaned up, and so I thought, he'd come back in here. I thought I'd just let everybody kind of see his personality and whatnot, as far as giving him some freedom in here. So probably one of the biggest mistakes people make with their puppies, okay, is that they give them too much freedom. Okay, it's like the number one. It may not be the number one, but let's just put it's in the top 3 of mistakes that people make with their puppies, okay? And what they do is they get their puppies home and they basically just let them run around everywhere. I'm trying to take my gloves off because I just got inside here from being outside with him. There we go. And so basically I'm sitting on the crate that he sleeps in, which is underneath me. And basically, I want to just let everybody see his personality here as he gets freedom. Okay, so I bring him back in here in the morning, and I give him freedom, and he can just roam around. He sniffs everything. It's kind of like a typical dog does. But like I said and started out with, is a lot of people make a mistake by giving their puppies too much freedom. Okay. And basically it's this. You say, well, how much is too much freedom? How much is too little freedom? How will I know? It's when you can be in your home and they're not getting into trouble. They can lay down and relax and just be right beside you or with you. They have that desire anyway, most of the time. Occasionally you'll get a dog that has a personality that has no problem being by themselves, okay? Especially if you're dealing with a different breed other than lab, okay? So there's breeds out there that are very independent, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if they are independent, then they have to show you that they can handle that freedom, okay? So, Luke is a very passionate. He loves to be with you. He loves to lick. He'd sit here as long as I want him to until he has to go to the bathroom or eat again. If I would just sit here and pet him, okay? He loves having affection. He's a very compassionate dog, affectionate dog. He's very good, okay? Very good. But even though he's good and he's a loving dog, very good and whatever, and he roams around and kind of seeks around and, no big deal. Some puppies, when they're younger, they'll grab them bowls, carry them in their mouths, and then drop them and kind of play with them. Luke doesn't do that, okay? I've got some stuff. Let me zoom in here. I've got some stuff up there, some soap, some clips, some ear cleaner, my training bag, and my air hose, my sound equipment. Luke will not chew on that stuff. And that's important because, if I would give him, let me zoom back out. If I would give him enough freedom at an early stage, he would learn to walk by anything and everything and investigate, grab it, and go with it, okay? And so when you see, hop down, buddy, hop down. I know you want to be up here with me, but that's okay. You can't do that. When you see that, you have to say, okay, he's got too much freedom. We've got to rein him in, okay? Because he's starting to grab all that stuff. And he has to learn that when I walk around the house, I've got to keep my legs on the ground, okay? Just like right then and there, he got excited and he wanted my attention. So he thought he could put his leg up here, which, is that bad? Probably not if you know how to handle that. But see, what will eventually happen is he'll put his feet up here and whatnot, and the next thing you know, he's jumping on your lap, okay? And that's how that starts. Well, to avoid the whole jumping on your lap, you just completely avoid the whole paw right there for the initially, so that he can control himself and not want to jump up on you and different things like that, okay? So it's very, very important that we understand, how they think, and that we're not going to give them too much liberty, okay? So, like, for example, I put my gloves right here, okay? that has my smell all over it, okay? I'm setting him up. If I would give him too much freedom or walk out of this room and go do some other chores or do some other things, okay? And leaving those there with my scent on there, he would walk up, smell, and want to grab those. I'm setting him up for failure, all right? Now, he understands what no means, and if I tell him no and whatnot, he'll listen. But if I give him the opportunity, even like some stuff over here in my storage area, like I have stuff in there I don't want him getting used to, or I don't want him getting to, okay? Extra leashes and collars and towels and different things like that. He'll, you know, and I got this stuff up here, just extra stuff. Well, if I give him too much freedom, he's going to go get into that stuff. All right, so as somebody that's a responsible individual, number one, I'm not going to give him the freedom to do that. Number two, before I would leave him in a situation where he could get freedom, I would put all that stuff away. All right, so it's just kind of along them lines. You know, I've got electric heaters in here, like this one here. I don't want him to go over there and to investigate because he's bored, and the next you know he's chewing on the wire and he gets shocked. You know, a shock from a heater like that with 1500 watts, it could kill a dog. It's not good. It's not good at all. It's very unsafe. So we got to be careful giving our puppies too much freedom, okay? A lot of people do not like the idea of putting their dogs in crates. I get that. I totally understand. You know, like this is where Luke sleeps, okay? And I get that. But you could say, well, I don't need you could take it from the crate and you could put them in a room. And I hear people doing this all the time. They'll stick them in the laundry room, or they'll stick them in a room that is blocked off. They can't get into anything, and it keeps them safe. And then as they get older, okay, and they start teaching us, saying, hey, you know what, I can handle this, all right? Then we can give them some extra freedom and whatnot. We can give them extra freedom to have more time. So basically what I'm doing this morning is I'm giving him, I use the tennis ball to get him out in front of me so you all can see him, but I'm giving him freedom in here to roam around, to express himself, but then I can say, okay, you know what, you're getting too bored, you're getting into this or that and the other. We can't have that, all right? So like this, for example, he wants to start chewing on the tennis ball, okay? So if I would just put that tennis ball down and walk out of the room, he's going to have this tennis ball in pieces. He's going to have some of that in his stomach, okay? That's not safe, okay? So what do I have to do? Hey, here. Thank you. Okay? So I have to take it away, all right? And that's the responsibility as, well, it's what we should do as a responsible person. But it's what we do when we care for our pets, and when we care for our children, we would do the same thing. If we see something there that's going to harm them, we'd say, hey, we can't do that. We can't, it just because of our experience and different things like that, we say, hey, we can't do that. That's not good. The outcome's not going to be any good. And it saves them from having to go through some harm. Same thing with the dog, okay? I'm not going to let them chew on a tennis ball like that because it's going to cause him harm. All right, so I say, hey, we can't do that. And you've seen his response. I got him, told him to bring it here. He brought it to me. He let it go. He didn't fight me at all about it, okay? And so I'm just in here this morning, and he wants, he thinks we're going to train. He thinks I got food on me. That's why he's so excited. But he just walks around nonchalant and just relaxes and is comfortable. We'll play music in here. I've got different genres of music that we play, and it comes out my speaker right here. It hooks up to a USB in the back. It also is Bluetooth, so it hooks up to my phone, and we play music. It gets loud, it's soft. I've got stuff on the other side of the wall that is even more loud than that, but it's really building off of that as he gets older, we're building off of him telling me that he can handle himself, okay? So, like, I want to give him, when I'm in here training, like this bucket right here that has a bucket of water in it, okay? And it's a bucket of water, it's got water in it. And he can come and make the decision that, okay, I'm thirsty. Okay, I leave that in here when he's open, when we're training, that he can go get a drink at any time, because now we're using these bowls over here for other training, for different things, okay? So, again, you know, keep the puppy in your control at all times. Initially, when you bring the puppy home, and this is very popular, there's a lot of people that do this. They put the leash and collar on them, like a nylon leash, and they let that puppy walk around the house with that leash on them, and so that they can control them at all times. And so when the puppy's in the house walking around, then like here, let's look at this for example, okay? See how he walks up to it and he just sniffs it, but he doesn't touch it, okay? So you walk around, you got the puppy on the leash, and then the puppy goes to do something that they shouldn't be doing, and then all of a sudden you reach over and say, hey, you grab the leash, and then you bring him back to where you need to be. It gives you that 6 foot, 5 foot, 6 foot extension so that you can, you know, get his attention and do what you got to do, okay? And then as they prove to you that they can handle that freedom, you just keep giving them that freedom. So, you know, they've been in the crate for 2 hours, you get them out, take them outside, go potty and whatnot, and then you bring them back in the house, and you got them in the house for 2 hours with you. Well, then after that 2 hours, you go back outside again and go potty and do their business, come back in, you know, if they got to go potty, you know, and a lot of times they'll give you that signal after a while. They'll start saying, hey, I've got to go, and they'll start wandering around. Well, when they're used to being in a small area like that, and they don't have much freedom, what they'll do is they'll say, I don't know where to go. And so they'll start whining, because they'll say, I don't know where to go potty because I've never been able to go potty in here, and I'll start whining because I've got to go potty and I don't know where to go. And so that's an indicator for you that you can take them outside, okay? So I hope that's some information for everybody. I've had a lot of questions about that. It's like, how do you know, like even for Luke, he's, you know, 8 months, almost 9. Now, how do we know when to give him freedom? Well, just like now, I'm in this room. You know, this room is a very large room. It's 14 by 42 foot long. And it's like, how and when do I know? Well, I'm in here. It's a controlled atmosphere, an extremely controlled atmosphere. I let him have freedom of roaming around. I'll throw some toys on the ground. I'll put some things on the ground, teach him no, leave it, different things like that. So it builds him and he understands, okay? They don't understand unless we teach them, okay? It's not something that's just gonna happen. So we've got to let them know what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And by doing that, you give him the freedom, and then he gets into something and you say no. Okay, there's nothing wrong with telling your dog no. Okay, matter of fact, I encourage people to train their dog what no means. However, you need to make sure that it doesn't become something negative. Okay, so there's something there to understand. You know, when you're training a dog, you need to put into them more than you're taking out of them. And when you're saying the word no, that's a double whammy, okay? And what I mean by double whammy is that's a no. That is like, you put a praise into him, that's 1 point. You ask him to do something, that's a -1 point, okay? So praise, plus 1 point. Do a command, -1 point, okay? But when you say no, come on, Luke, Luke, come on. Outside, go potty. So when you do no, okay, that's like -2 points. So now you've got to go back and really put some praise into him, because you're down 2 points, okay? So it's very, very important that we understand the psychological side of that, and so that when we're doing it, it doesn't always come in. It's like, man, every time I turn around, they're telling me no. And I've heard a lot of people tell me, I feel like I'm always telling my dog no. And you probably are. But that means you're giving your dog too much freedom. You see? All right? So you back off that freedom. You put them in a schedule. Okay, you stick them in the crate, spend them time in the crate, put them on a schedule, okay? So they learn to depend on that schedule and depend on you to run that schedule, all right? And then you praise them, build on that, and then eventually you got where they're having more time. And then in your mind, when you say no, you now know that you've got some work to do, because you said no, and now you've got to praise them, and to put back into their mind, into them, that negative 2 points that you just took out of them. Okay, and this isn't, you know, rocket science. It's not set in concrete. It's a format that I follow. That, I mean, not only when I train dogs, but it's in relationships with people. It's when I conduct business. It's that I put into people or into a relationship more initially, well, actually altogether, really, more than I even expect to get out of the relationship. If you have two parties putting in the relationship more than they're expecting to get out of the relationship, you're going to have a very positive, beneficial relationship, because everybody's putting into the relationship, and then when it does come time for the withdrawal, you don't even know there was any withdrawal because there's so much put into it. Okay, and so it's no different than with the dog. I put all of this compassion and love and praise, and then I show them what I want them to do, and I praise them again and give them a reward. That then when it comes time to do the hard stuff, I built that relationship. It becomes so much easier for him to listen to me because I've put so much into him. Okay, so I hope I didn't lose you on that. I kind of got a little bit deep on that, but and maybe not. Some people it's probably just, you know, just barely, you know, skimming the cream off there. But I hope that helps everybody. And all the questions I've been getting with how, you know, when to know to get your dogs with more freedom. It's just let them tell you. And if you find yourself saying no and no a lot, you're giving your dog too much freedom. And then just back it off, okay? You can always back it up. And remember the old saying that we say, you can never go too slow, but you can always go too fast. All right? So take it easy, guys, and we'll see you guys on the next one.